The chemical makeup and the density of the meteorites' various layers provide evidence as to how they were created. They are pieces of the solar system, and they give us clues about how the Earth and Earth-like planets were created.
Della propria Tierra, no? Come si è formata la Tierra e los otros planetas que son semejantes a la Tierra.
The stargazers have long been contemplating the Big Bang Theory, as well as the possibility of extraterrestrial life. Would God's promise of redemption apply to all living beings in the universe?
Todo el universo.
The whole universe was created by God. If other intelligent beings exist, they would be God's creatures as well. And everything, all the universe is filled with God's mercy. All the universe, as St. Paul said, is to be redeemed by God. And that's a message of hope.
In 1994, the papal astronomers moved to Arizona in America's desert southwest. The ever brighter lights of Italy's Mediterranean coast had begun to obscure the night sky over Castel Gandolfo as well. In the 17th century, the Jesuit Father Kino opened a mission station on the site where this church stands now. He was an astronomer too, and from here, he surveyed the heavens. Atop the 3,200-meter summit of Mount Graham in Arizona is the Vatican Advanced Technology Telescope, or VAT. The skies here are as clear at night as during the day when the papal stargazers sleep. The nearby radio telescope, on the other hand, can work day and night. It picks up and localizes radio signals from the cosmos. The VAT is a 180-centimeter reflector telescope that can detect infrared sources, light that's invisible to the human eye. Father Chris Corbally has arrived from Tucson. As both a theologian and a scientist, he follows the ongoing debate in the U.S. between the proponents of intelligent design and of so-called creationism.
Creationism will have everything there from the beginning. Intelligent design means, yes, there's been development, but there are certain sort of jumps in the development that cannot come through just the physics and the biology working. There has to be something else, an intelligent designer producing that new thing. And to my mind, it's not giving nature enough, as it were, imagination. And nature's imagination shows in the way that it has solved the same problem in a variety of ways. One such is the ability to see that in various creatures has been solved in different ways. There are different kinds of eyes. A bird's eye is different from a human eye. And in some ways, our human eye is not the best design at all.
Anyone who delves into the vast diversity of nature and the universe is likely to find it hard to relate to the idea that it all came about in a single act of creation only 6,000 years ago. Joining the VAT and the radio telescope in 2004 was the LBT, or Large Binocular Telescope. As its name implies, it's a kind of double telescope. It has a collecting area of 111 square meters, larger than any other reflector telescope. It can observe phenomena that are so far away in time and space that they give a glimpse of the creation of the galaxies, and indirectly, of the Earth. The LBT can also capture infrared images of far distant objects. It's a joint project of Italian, American, and German institutes and universities. After preliminary testing, the LBT saw first light in binocular mode in the spring of 2008, when it achieved full resolution. The images from the Vatican telescope and the LBT both are of exceptional brilliance and a fascinating beauty, much of which is lost through television transmission, stars and galaxies. Confronted with a spectacle like this, layman and specialist alike naturally wonder how it all began.
The questions we always ask, that all people ask sometime, are where did we come from and where are we headed? Astronomy may have discovered many things over the past 200 or 300 years, but the basic questions, how is our universe created? And how will our universe eventually end up? These questions are still just the same as ever.
A German consortium has developed a near-infrared camera and spectrograph for the LBT and dubbed it LUCIFER. It diffracts light into its different wavelengths, the colors of the spectrum. It's used to analyze the composition of objects in space, even in other galaxies. Such high-tech astronomy often makes it easy to lose sight of the forest for all the trees, or to lose sight of the higher purpose for all the stars.
For me, the religious aspect gets pushed pretty far back compared to the scientific aspect, just because I think science will get you further. But on the other hand, I think religion can be a help to people as well, and I don't think the two directly contradict each other. Albert Einstein was also deeply religious.
Night is falling over the Vatican telescope. The Jesuit stargazers can see millions of light years out in space and back in time. Father Richard Boyle and his colleague from Ireland are investigating a fairly recent discovery, the brown dwarf. The first was identified in 1988. These bodies are something in between a star and a planet.
Minus, let's say, take 15 minutes away from that, so 1 hour and 15 because of that bad cloud. So I want to be getting another 2 hours.
Many times the size of Jupiter, brown dwarfs can only be distinguished from a small star by the presence of lithium in their atmospheres.
They occupy the size of a star between bigger than a giant planet like Jupiter and smaller, less mass than our sun. And so it's a new area of study in astronomy.
Leon Harding, a specialist in brown dwarfs, has come to observe them at the VAT. Brown dwarfs are not massive enough to sustain a fusion reaction.
That's what defines a star. The star burns and then the fuel runs out and then it dies. But because these stars don't ignite, they're very red, so they're much cooler. So with optical observatories, with optical telescopes, when you observe